.736 TSN 690. It is Game Points Nightly, a special primetime presentation. We're here Monday through Thursday of this week. Normally we are late night Tuesday and Sunday evening. Glad to talk a little hockey free agency right now with our next guest. He is the editor-in-chief of thefourthperiod.com, also the magazine as well, and you can follow his very active Twitter account over the last couple of days at The Fourth Period. It is Montreal native Dave Pagnotta. What's up, bud?
I need a drink. I need like 6 of them. Stat.
Wow. How's the minutes logged on the phone today?
Oh, I can't wait to get this bill.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
So?
Definitely going to be reaching out to some guys that signed today for some assistance.
Now, obviously, Dave, a huge amount of activity today. That was expected, though, right, leading up, or did it exceed your expectations?
No, it's more or less what everybody feared / expected. Everyone expected a lot of activity, a lot of craziness. The window period in which teams can negotiate, or sorry, not negotiate, and talk to free agents, the 5 days prior to July 1st has helped this process along quite significantly. And it's allowed for a lot of activity because we know that, and regardless of whether you were watching TSN or online or check-in Sportsnet or whatever, you saw that every now and again, player X has narrowed it down to 5 to 6 teams. Player Y has narrowed it down to 4 to 5 teams. And that took that in the past, some guys wouldn't sign until a week after July 1st because you got to go through that whole process. So it certainly helped. I'm a little surprised at and I guess I really shouldn't be, but I'm a little surprised at the minimal amount of trade activity that's taken place today. There's a crap load of trade talk going on right now, especially as teams find out that they've lost out on the guys that they've been going after. And we're going to hear a lot more trade talk throughout the course of the week. But I'm a little surprised we didn't see more activity today. Mind you, teams are still talking, so you never know. But a lot of people pretty happy that today is more or less done, especially the players. I actually just been talking to a few of them right now, and the consensus among all the free agents, as excited as they are to have their new deals, said today has not been fun at all, very stressful.
Yeah. Just
super happy it's done.
All right, Dave. Well, let's talk about the Canadian side of things. Georges moves to Buffalo for a second-round pick. Was that the only offer really on the table for the Canadiens? Were they close to ever really just cutting him loose without a trade?
No. The whole waiver thing, I don't know where that came from, but that was never the case. The Habs were never going to just move Brian Gionta and get nothing. Josh Georges and get nothing for him. This was a cap-related move, and one in which they wanted to bring in some younger defensemen, or not younger defensemen, but cheaper defensemen, to kind of spread out their roster a little bit and give them more flexibility. And ultimately, they bring back Mike Weaver. They signed Tom Gilbert. The trade for Toronto, initially everybody thought it was a forward. It ended up being Cody Franson. And I believe Bob McKenzie just confirmed that a little while ago on Twitter. So that was the player that they were going to get back, and that would have ultimately prevented the Canadiens from signing Tom Gilbert had they made the move for Cody Franson for Josh Georges, who would have been a cheaper alternative. Cap-related move, not one that, Bergevin said it. He's not here to be popular. He's here to make tough decisions and what he ultimately hopes are the right decisions. And the Habs and their management brass, in addition to Bergevin, feel that these are the right moves they needed to make today.
All right, you mentioned Tom Gilbert, a veteran defenseman known as a pretty good skater, big body. Your thoughts on that signing, the amount of money that the Canadiens are going to fork over, which is $2.8 million for 2 years?
I like the deal. I like Tom Gilbert. He needed some time to rejuvenate his career. He did that in Florida, signing a very small contract. Only made $900,000 last season. Made a lot more beforehand, and obviously a lot more now. But he needed to kind of revive his career a little bit. He was on a bit of a downward spiral, only because sometimes we all know this. Players play mind games with themselves, and they got to get back into the groove and into the swing of things. He was a big asset for the Florida Panthers and would have had better numbers had he not been on the Florida Panthers. So a good addition for the Canadiens. I like that move. And you know, again, it's cap related. So if you can get a guy who's a little more mobile, a big body, and at a cheaper rate, it ultimately makes sense. And you know, for the Habs, outside of having to sign PK Subban and Lars Eller, they've got a little more flexibility right now to do more. And whether it's on free agency or via the trade market, this is ultimately a pretty good day, and the Habs are certainly very happy about it.
All right, you mentioned Weaver. 1 year, $1.75 million. By all accounts, many Habs fans very happy to A, see him back, and B, that he signed at that amount. Are you surprised that he didn't get a 2-year offer somewhere else, or maybe he did and he just wanted to stay with the Habs? What were your thoughts on that signing?
Yeah, I was told he got a better offer, a couple better offers elsewhere, with a little more term on him. He likes the situation in Montreal. He likes the team. He likes the environment. He really likes Max Pacioretty, and wants to stay. So a lot of guys making those decisions here today, turning down more money and more term for opportunities where they feel they're comfortable with. You know, same deal for Manny Malhotra signing here with the Montreal Canadiens, getting to be put into a position where he's going to get a little more ice time probably than where he would elsewhere. Going to see more time on the PK. Going to see a guy that's going to win faceoffs when you need him. So again, these are depth moves for the Montreal Canadiens in bringing back Weaver and excuse me, and signing Manny Malhotra. But these are moves that if you look at teams like Chicago, LA, et cetera, that have these types of depth players on their team, these are the guys you need.
All right, Dave, I don't know what you know of the Czech player that the Canadiens signed today, but Sekic from the KHL looks like he may be a third-line type of candidate. Do you know anything about this?
I hear he's good, and that's about it.
Yeah.
I wish I could be of more help in that respect, but I hear he's a really good player. I hear there was a lot of interest in him, which leads you to believe that he should be a good player. But outside of that, kind of hope for the best. He's rep by Octagon Hockey. That's all I know.
Okay, fair enough. Now, the signing of Joey McDonald obviously screams Hamilton Bulldogs, but is it also maybe an indication that either Tokarski or Budaj could be packaged and moved?
It can, definitely. I think if you're thinking of trading one of your two backup goalies, so to speak, right now, Dustin Tokarski is the guy to go. His value is not going to be higher. It won't ever be higher than it is right now. And I think the Canadiens know that. And this is some added cushion in the event that they do move him. If not, they've got Tokarski and a very reliable veteran presence between the pipes in Hamilton that they can alternate some time with and help McDonald kind of coach the young kid along. I don't see how trading Budaj, unless it's for a draft pick or you want to free up a little extra cash in another respect, is going to happen. Now, you know, you've got the flexibility between the pipes. I guess you could. But I wouldn't read too much into this signing. I think it's an organizational depth move. And if the right offer comes along, or right package is presented, that the Canadiens can add in a guy like Dustin Tokarski into the mix for a team that wants a young goalie, like San Jose, for example, then you kind of roll with it.
Dave Pagnotta joining us here from the fourthperiod.com. They got a tracker. They got some articles up, so check out their website. Dave, Gionta signing a monster contract for a lack of production this year with the Canadiens, and I'm just floored by how much money Buffalo threw at him. Is this a situation where the Sabres were looking to try and get to that cap floor, and that's why they offered a little more, or are they really looking for a leader? What was this money about?
Well, it's both. You look at what Florida did last year, where they offered up more money because they could to a number of players to get to the floor and surpass the floor. But the Buffalo Sabres they're in a very interesting position. They've got a lot of good young talent, but they also need to surround that talent with veteran presence. Josh Georges is going to be instrumental to that blue line for the Buffalo Sabres. Brian Gionta is going to be Stanley Cup champion, a veteran presence, a leader in that room to help mold some of the younger kids. And they bring back Matty Molson to provide some offense, and they sign Andre Mizaros on the back end as well. This is a team that was very young and now all of a sudden has some veteran guys in that locker room that can help mold this team into what they expect and hope to be a contender in a few seasons. And even though Brian Gionta probably won't be there when that happens, the fact that he's in there and allows some of the younger kids to grow from him. Ask Brendan Gallagher how important Brian Gionta was and Josh Georges was for him as he was coming up as a young kid with the Montreal Canadiens over the last couple of seasons. Same situation now for Gio in Buffalo, and it's a smart addition. And hey, they can pay an extra $250,000, $300,000-$400,000 a year to this guy, sort of a local kid. You go for it, and for Brian Gionta, he's obviously very happy about it. He's got a no move in his contract for the first 2 seasons and a limited no trade in the final third year. So he's definitely there at least 2 seasons. You kind of go from there.
Dave, 2 questions for you. Do you think Marc Bergevin is still looking around for anyone else? And what letter grade would you give for his work today?
Yes, I think he's still looking around. As far as I know, they're still involved in the discussions with Radim Vrbata, who will, by all accounts, be making his decision tomorrow as to where he ends up. There are about 4 or 5 teams right now still in the mix, unless a team comes up later today or tomorrow morning to kind of enter that mix. And in terms of a grade, I give him, I guess, a B+ right now. Good moves all around. You always want to see the home team or whomever make a big splash in a huge trade or monster signing that makes sense, not give $27.5 million for an aging defenseman like the Washington Capitals did. I have no idea. I can't comprehend that one. But overall, I think a good decision or a variety of good decisions for Bergevin and his staff today. Yeah,
it's not as bad as Benoit Pouliot getting 5 years, $4 million. I was just blown away by that. But
I mean, Derek Englund, $2.9 a year for 3 years in Calgary. Look, I'm a players guy. I give all the power to the players. If they're going to sign these contracts, good for them, because I sure as hell would. But a lot of these teams need a real smack in the face every now and again. You want to know what's screwing up the league if everybody's complaining about lockouts every now and again. Well, Washington, come on, give me a break.
He is Dave Pagnotta. The website's The Fourth Period. Check him out at The Fourth Period on Twitter. And Dave will actually do double duty, speak to us a little later, because we didn't even touch on any of the big names today. There still could be some other stuff that happens over the next 3 hours as well. So Dave will be with us again after 10 o'clock. Dave, thanks so much.
Pleasure as always. Talk to you guys soon.
All right, there you go. That's Dave Pagnotta from thefourthperiod.com. It is Game Points Nightly, a special 4-day run here on TSN 690 in prime time. On the other side of the break, what are the Habs' next moves? Where are the holes? And is one player now being given a vote of confidence? We'll talk about that next.